All right, let's talk to Ray Didinger. Eagles just made a trade. Ray's thoughts on that, the World Series, and more. Ray Diddy, good morning, sir.
Morning, Joe. How are you doing?
Oh, fantastic. Always better when we have the opportunity to talk to you today, Ray. So normally after an Eagles game, not today. So let's just start. They made a move. It's a third-round draft pick for edge rusher Jaylen Phillips of the Miami Dolphins. He's 26 years old. He's in year 5. He has had some injuries in prior years. What can you tell us about what you know about Jaylen Phillips?
Well, you kind of put it in a nutshell right there. I mean, that's been in the conversation now for a while that the Eagles were looking, they were shopping around for help at the other cornerback spot and an edge rusher, and have addressed them both now over the last couple of weeks. And, each of the guys that came in, you can talk about Alexander too, have had injury issues, you just mentioned it, but are guys that have some talent. And Phillips certainly falls into that category. I mean, when the conversation began really heating up over the last, I'd say, 3 or 4 days about Phillips being kind of the guy that they had identified, it makes sense. I mean, he's certainly a talented player, and I'd seen him play at UCLA when he was getting ready to come out. Everybody was pretty high on him, and he's had trouble staying on the field basically. But when he's played, he's had some stretches where he's played really well, and that's what he does. I mean, he gets after the quarterback, and you bring him in and you just hope for the best. I mean, they needed that help. They needed to get one more guy, at least one more guy that had the ability to put pressure on the passer, and they certainly needed to shore up the secondary. And they've addressed it, and now we'll see. I mean, there's no sure things here, but does he make them better? Yeah, he does. He really does.
Ray, is he better than Jalen Hunt? Put another way, is he going to be a starter when everyone's healthy? Nolan Smith's healthy when he gets there. Is he better than Jalen Hunt? Is Phillips a starter?
I guess a lot depends on Vic Fangio's a guy that wants to know that his people, that the guys he's playing with, understand the system. He doesn't put anybody on the field before he thinks that they're ready to contribute. And I think a lot of it just depends on when Phillips comes in, how quickly he can understand the defense and what's going to be asked of him. Hunt has been, at least for about the first 5 weeks or so, I was a little disappointed in Hunt because based on what I saw of him at the end of last year, I thought he was really coming on, and I thought he was with more exposure and more snaps, he was going to come out and play really well right from the jump this year. And frankly, he was a little slow coming around. Now, the last game he played, I thought might have been his best. I thought he really looked like he was playing well. But it's really going to be Vic's call. I would expect that, honestly, knowing the way Vic does things, I would expect them to come out with Hunt still on the field. Since he's coming off, he's been with them now for a couple of years. He knows the book, and he's coming off a pretty good game. I think they're probably going to stay with him initially. But they're going to have opportunities to use Phillips. They're going to have opportunities because you're coming out of the bye here, and you're going to be facing good quarterbacks right away. I mean, you got Love, Goff, and Dak Prescott coming at you. So if you're going to win those games, you hope to win those games, you're going to need somebody that's going to get pressure on the passer.
Diddy, the position, how difficult it is to get up to speed quickly. Edge, pass rusher, what that player is expected to do in this system, is that one that you can really throw him into the deep end of the pool right away? Boom, he plays this upcoming week. Is it going to be a couple of weeks? How does particular position ability play in this, and how are the Eagles going to handle it?
A lot really depends on the coach and his and how he approaches it. I mean, some coaches, they'll bring in a new guy and they'll throw him right in, but Fangio is not that way. I mean, we saw it last year. We had an outstanding player, and everybody knew he was an outstanding player, Cooper DeJean, and everybody was anxious to get him on the field right away. But he had a hamstring issue during training camp, and he was missing a lot of time. And Vic was real careful about using him on the. When he finally felt like he was up to speed with what he was going to be asked to do, that's when he got on the field, and obviously he made a huge difference. He was part of the turnaround of last season, was getting him on the field. But Vic took his time in doing it. Now, this is a different case. There's a little bit of a different case here in the sense that Phillips is a veteran, and if he's coming in to do what I think they're bringing him in to do, which is just simply rush the passer. It's easier. It's an easier schematically issue to work him in. But listen, they didn't give up a third-round draft pick for a guy who's just going to sit on the bench. I mean, if they're going to give up a third-round pick and bring him in, the idea is going to be get him out there as quick as you can. And the fact is, if he's healthy, he's good. I mean, they needed somebody who can win the one-on-one outside. You know, honestly, to this point, they really haven't seen that. We haven't seen a lot of the guys you were hoping were going to give you that. Haven't been doing that, at least as well as I thought they were going to. Hunt being one example.
It's
but this guy can do that if he just has to stay on the field.
94 WIP HD1 Philadelphia. Jody Mack in for John today, and of course the Diddy Ray Didinger with us as he is every Monday as we broadcast from the Tasty Cake studio. Ray, let's go back to the prior trade the Eagles made a few days ago, Jaire Alexander. So it's exciting when you get someone who's been good, but I also think about Darius Leonard. I think about Kevin Byard. I'm going back a couple years ago here. These were accomplished pro football players. I think about Devin White from last year. These guys got here and frickin' stunk. So, you know, Jaire Alexander, he can play or his body's too beat up. What do you think?
Well, you know, both. You know, I mean, we'll have to see. We'll have to see when he gets here and when they start trying to incorporate him. But he has been a Pro Bowl player. He has played at that level, but he has had injuries, and that's those are usually the kinds of guys that you find available at the trade deadline. Or I mean, all the talk about some of the other people that were out there that were better players and might be available. They generally don't move them at the trade deadline. I mean, you can talk about them, but the ones that move are the guys that have some issues. And usually it's a matter of ability, of not necessarily ability as much as it is durability. And that's been Alexander's problem. But he gives you another option. And look, the Eagles have talked around the other cornerback thing and tried to not make it a thing. Or, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've seen Fangio and Nick asked about that other position. And they've tried to talk about Ringo, and they've tried to talk about Jackson and make you believe that they believe in it, but they don't really. I mean, the fact is they just wanted another option. And listen, if Alexander can come in and he's healthy and he understands the system, which I think he should, he can help, as Phillips can help. But we just have to. We won't know any of that until we get him here and get him on the field. Like, sure. I thought Bayard, when they made the deal for him, I thought that was a chance to get a pretty good player because he. He was Pro Bowl player. I mean, I'm like a legit Pro Bowl player at a safety position where you would have thought that, okay, I mean, I think he can come in and play right away and contributed very, very little. So you never know with these things. And but the one thing I would say is I thought they were going to make moves, and they have, and now you just got to sit back and see if they work out. But did they need help there? They sure did at both spots.
When you include the Brandon Graham move, which of course was not a trade but a signing, they've now made 4 moves in just about a week. Ray, let's get to yesterday in pro football. As it relates to the Eagles, what stood out to you the most? You watch all those games. You got the Bills and the Chiefs. You got a lot of NFC teams that lost that were good records. What stood out to you the most as it relates to the Eagles?
It just reinforces something that we've talked about up till now is just how wide open the NFL is this year. Maybe more than almost any year in my memory. That here we are. I mean, we're well into the season now, and it is such a mad scramble right now. And just when you think you're starting to figure some things out, you have a day like yesterday, where the Lions and the Packers both lose at home to teams that you figured they would win fairly easily. The Packers game to me was an absolute stunner. I mean, they're 2 touchdown favorites at home, and lose that game. It just tells you that I don't know that anything's for real in the NFL this year. I mean, we could probably sit here and talk for a half an hour about teams that we think have a chance to go to the Super Bowl and mention half a dozen teams that'll be in that conversation. And the Eagles are certainly one of them. But yesterday, I mean, definitely helps. I mean, it really helps. I mean, hanging a couple of home losses on the on the Lions and the Packers. I mean, that's a really good thing. I mean, the Eagles had to sit back and feel pretty good about what they saw happen. And now, what kind of a mood the Packers are going to come out in on next Monday night at home? That's one thing you're going to have to deal with. But in terms of just the math and the tiebreakers and all that other stuff. I mean, the Eagles sat back yesterday, and their situation improved. Now they got to go out and take advantage of it.
No question. Ray, two final things here. We've all seen a lot of baseball. Jody, who's seen certainly more than me, thinks that the Game 7 the other night was the best baseball game he's ever seen. It's the best baseball game I've ever seen. You've seen even more than us. Do you think that was the best baseball game you've ever seen?
No. I mean, it was great. It was epic, and people will talk about it forever. But the game that will always stay with me, I suspect, is probably the Bill Mazeroski game. I think that's
wow.
I think that's
Got to go hard to go before me. I'm an old guy,
good right
and
there.
I was not alive when Bill Mazeroski did what he did.
Pretty big one right there.
It is a big one.
No, that's the one but I had a deep rooting interest in that one too, which I really didn't have in this. I mean, this one I'm just sitting back watching it as a fan.
Yeah.
But I mean, I had a deep rooting interest in the 1960 World Series because Danny Murtaugh, the Murtaugh family lived in our parish.
Really?
In Millmont Park. Yeah. And so the Murtaugh family, and I went to school with Danny Jr. was in my class all the way through elementary school and high school. So I got to know the Murtaugh family really well. So next to the Phillies, the Pirates were my team. And so that I had a deep rooting interest in that World Series. But the drama of that series and the greatness of that Yankee team and just the whole back and forth of that series and coming down to the walk-off of Mazeroski was the one that will always stay with me. But this one, I mean, this one's one that people are going to talk about for generations just the same.
It was just wild. All right, Ray, final thing. So this is always a special week with the Philadelphia sports community because we've got not one but two really, really good banquets on tap. Tomorrow night, the Otho Davis annual scholarship banquet where we honor, it's funny, he was supposed to be retired. Now he's the active Brandon Graham. So BG will be featured tomorrow night. And then on Thursday night, I want to get your thoughts on this, Ray. Thursday night, two main headliners with the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame. The 85 Villanova basketball team, which is an all-timer, of course. And a lot of people might not know this. Jeffrey Lurie going in on Thursday night to the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame. That's a big deal. And, Ray, I'm curious if you could, I mean, you've seen the whole Lurie thing, and a lot of other owners that weren't so good. Can you put some context? Because I think, Ray, Jeffrey Lurie is one of the most consequential Philadelphia sports figures of all time with what his organization has accomplished now over 30 years since he took it over. Can you put some context into the Jeffrey Lurie thing?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it's great that he's going in, and well-deserved. He's certainly the best owner in Eagles history. And you could make a case, you could really make a case for the best owner in Philadelphia sports history. I mean, there was certainly an argument to be made for Ed Snyder, because Ed Snyder created the Philadelphia Flyers. But if you look at what Jeff Lurie has accomplished since he's come here, it's tremendous. And I think the irony of it is there were so many questions asked about him when he bought the Eagles. I mean, everybody was happy to be rid of Norman Braman. I mean, that was sort of a given. But there were so many questions that were asked about Jeff when he came, because he was the first out of towner to own the Eagles. I mean, all the other owners of the Eagles over the years had ties to Philadelphia. I mean, even Braman, the guy in France, was a Philadelphian by birth. But Jeffrey's coming in from Boston with all of those Boston ties, and admittedly, a Celtics and a Bruins fan, and when he first got his office at Veterans Stadium, the biggest picture on the wall was a picture of the parquet floor in Boston Garden.
Wow.
and so there were a lot of people that wondered about who is this guy, and there were a lot of people that thought, he's going to pick up the team and move it to California since he's a movie guy. I mean, all of those questions were asked about Jeff. Were they happy to be rid of the previous owner? Absolutely. But a lot of people were looking at Jeffrey askance, because here's the team that is nearest and dearest to the hearts of all Philadelphians, is the Eagles. And for the first time now, they were owned by an out-of-towner, and nobody knew what that really meant. But I think Jeff Lurie he made several promises, and one of them was, look, I know I'm not from here, but now I'm here, and I'm going to be part of this community. And he did. I mean, he bought a house, and he's lived here the whole time. He's been very active, involved in charity work in the community. I mean, the creation of the $50 million autism initiative at Children's Hospital and Penn Medicine is enormous. So his involvement in the community, his love for the community, and what he's done for the community in the time here, apart from the football, has been tremendous. And then what he's done with the team, that he's put them in this category now where they are one of the elite teams. And he promised that. He said that I'm a fan here, I'm coming here to win, and I'm coming here to win Super Bowls. And he's delivered on that too. So, I think that, for a guy who came in here with a lot of people sort of looking at him and thinking, what's this guy all about? Well, I think after 30 years, you can pretty much know what he's all about. He's all about winning, and that, and that was exactly what Philadelphia wanted, and that's exactly what Jeffrey Lurie delivered.
Ray, great stuff, my man. Look forward to seeing you later this week, and obviously having you on the program next week after the Eagles play their next game. Thank you, Ray.
Always looking forward to it. Take care, Joe.
All right, Ray Didinger, 215-592-9494. Coming up, more reaction on the World Series as it relates to the Phillies. More on the Eagles from yesterday without the Birds, but all the games we saw, how it relates to the Birds. Plus, 5 questions for Jody Mack. Got question 3 next. Plus, something in sports that is getting totally out of control. Totally out of control that needs to be dealt with. We'll get to that and more. Phone calls and all of it on 94 WIP.